You're probably here because you're finding it a little bit difficult in finding your way about leadership, finding your way on how to manage people well, and finding your way on how to grow your business as an entrepreneur. Any one of these things are the topics that we cover. I'm your host, Sean C., aka Mr. CEO at 22. I am so glad that you took the first step of being here to learn more about leadership, entrepreneurship, and management because the world needs more people like you. We will help you to invest in yourself because that's something that is worth doing. That is something that is worth learning. If you have questions about entrepreneurship, maybe you're having problems at work or you're having some leadership problems or managing other people, boy, I have news for you. We have what we call a masterclass. Most of the courses in the masterclass deal with how you can generate revenue online. It deals with leadership, how to lead in crisis, how to break through the crisis in business, in entrepreneurship, and how you can manage other people better. Now, I always say the best kind of investment is an investment in yourself. And how much money are we charging for this masterclass? Not a lot. And if you invest in one, it's yours to keep. And if it doesn't, I'll refund you. No questions asked, full refund. So why don't you try it out? Head on over to sean.c/masterclass and check out any one of the courses if it fits any one of the questions in your head. And if you have any questions, you can just put it on the comment section and we'll get in touch with you. We want to know who you are and we want to hear from you. Until then, keep leading.
All right. Hello. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. For those of you watching on YouTube, Twitch, Periscope, and Facebook Live, thanks for tuning in. So, we have a couple of questions tonight. Very, very interesting questions. But before we go there, if you are watching and you're not yet on the Discord channel, please do join us there. You could check out the link on the scrolling banner down below from lechon.c/Discord. And we are, of course, on Spotify. That is where we publish all the episodes. We publish 4 episodes per week. What do we have this week? Let's check it out. The Leadership Stack podcast, we published episodes from Fritz Villafuerte with Fritz Villafuerte and Jamie Nang from Singapore. So we published so far June 8 and June 9 this week, the most effective way to evaluate employees and could cryptocurrencies replace the physical currencies. That's an AMA and that's an episode that is recorded exclusively for Spotify and YouTube. And then last week, we were able to publish 4 episodes, also with Jamie Nang and Fritz. And it's about finding opportunities in podcasting, the best approach to handling your finances, how to outsmart your business competition, and the best financial habits to build. There you go. So that is the episodes that we were able to launch. I hope you're still following us on Spotify. And they're getting better, actually. Spotify is getting way better and letting you know that there are new episodes for the podcasts that you follow. So that's pretty good. And we have some greetings already. Good evening, Patrick. Thank you for being here. Leslie May, thanks for tuning in. Yes, and we have another thing coming your way, and that is Clubhouse. Yes, we are on Clubhouse already, and we are still experimenting with the platform. We haven't mastered our way around it. So we're still experimenting a lot. But if you're someone who wants to ask questions, you can join the Clubhouse room that I just created. So if you're in the Discord channel, you can join us there. And I can unmute you on Clubhouse and people could hear you ask your questions right here on the show. So that's something that I'm very interested to know how that's going to work. So it's the first time we're going to do it, if ever. And we're also on TikTok. Yeah, because of Marvin Guillermo, Tony Aquino, we're on TikTok now. And I create TikTok videos that's exclusively published there. It's not AMA. Um, it's just on TikTok. So I have Nino on Clubhouse who just came in, and I'll be inviting him on stage. Hey, Nino, are you there? Can you hear me? Let me know if you could. I am. Let's see. Audio settings. Oh, my mic. Let me see. There we go. Hey, Nino, can you hear me? There you go. You want to ask your questions here live? I know I have it on Discord. All right, go ahead. Ask your question.
The first question is, to achieve better growth, do I need to find my weaknesses and improve on it, or would it be better to capitalize my strengths?
To achieve better growth, wait, let me also put that on so that people could follow us. To achieve better growth, do I need to find my weaknesses? Okay, that's a very good question. So first off, weaknesses would be really hard to find. Usually kasi you're blinded by your weaknesses. Hold on, let me just fix my mic. Yes, we are live. So you're blinded by weaknesses. So for me, one of my weaknesses would be when I speak, it's too sharp, turns people off. And that is something that I really wasn't aware of. You know, a lot of weaknesses are catch us blindsided. That's why we need other people to really help us out and tell us, hey, you know, you need improvements here. So it's quite difficult for us to find weaknesses, much less improve on it. So, but you know, for strengths, it's a lot easier for you to find out about that. So I'm not really promoting the particular tool, but one tool that really helped me out, as well as me, my wife, my team, is Gallup Strengths Finder. You could take that test. I think it's somewhere 800 pesos to 1K. I might be wrong. I'm not sure. But that will help you to realize your strengths and understand them in terms of what do you usually use when you're trying to solve problems and when you're working and when you need something accomplished. So that has helped me and my team understand each other in a way that, oh, this person doesn't like doing this because their strength isn't in that area, and they find it a drudgery to be able to achieve certain things that we need to be done there. So that's my take on that. Better to find out your strengths and capitalize on them. Hope that answers the question, Nino.
Sir, thank you.
Want to move on to your next one?
The next one is, in either choosing a business or a career path, which do you think you should anchor it on? Your passion or your skill set?
All right. In my opinion, business or career path, if you only had two choices, passion or skill set, I would go for skill set. Because if you're so passionate about something but you're not really great at it, that's gonna take you a while to get paid well and to really enjoy the team, enjoy the work, enjoy the job. So I'd go for a skill set. You're really good at it, and you have to learn to love it. Because here's the truth: you're not really gonna love 100% of what you do. That's why we call it work and not play. A lot of people, they think I should love my work so that I don't have to work every single day of my life. You know, it's fun for me because I love my job. You're gonna learn to love it. You know, 50 up to 50%. And if you love 70-80% of it, fantastic, great for you, but it will never be 100%. Even for me as CEO of SEO Hacker, I've been doing it over a decade now. I don't love 100% of my job. There are parts of my job that I don't like. And ganun talaga. It's really like that. Work is like that. There are some parts that you're not gonna like. So I wouldn't focus too much on passion. I know a lot of people, not a lot of speakers would say, focus on your passion. But if I'm gonna choose between skill set and passion, I'm gonna choose skill set. So when I was starting out, I knew I love writing and I'm really good at it. So that's great because I have both. But I'm also quite good in logic and understanding how code works. I can't build code. I can't write code that well, but I understand how it works when I read it. So I pursued SEO. One facet that I loved about SEO is the writing. I'm not really that great when it comes to marketing when I started out. I'm not really that great when it comes to programming when I was starting out. So I'd say maybe 20 to 30% of the job I was passionate about. The rest I was not passionate about. I was not passionate about legal. Definitely not passionate about sales during that time. I'm an introvert. So I'm not really good at sales. I'm not great at drafting contracts, proposals. I didn't like a lot of things about the job, but I did have the skill set to take me to the next level. So, yeah, my answer there is going to be skill set. Hope that helps. Let's go to the next question.
The next question is, growing up from a family who isn't really into business since they are licensed professionals, every time I pitch a business idea, they tend to forcibly alter or worse, reject some of the plan, which I think would be detrimental for the business. How do I change that while still remaining a good relationship with them?
Okay, that's a pretty tough question. So, family who isn't really into business, but more of their professionals. Hmm. If they're the ones in charge, it's gonna be difficult for you talaga to tell them that this is how it should be done. There are some things that people who have been doing it a while will not accept, especially if you're new. It's a matter of humility. People who are not humble to accept change. Yeah, and change is one of the hardest things to accept because you're comfortable. When they're comfortable about how they've been doing things ever since and it's working, and if it's not broken, don't fix it, then any suggestions that you throw their way, unfortunately, they're not really going to listen to it. It's hard for a young person to give advice to someone who's been doing something for a while. The best way you can help change these things and improve these things is to show them. So I know a story about someone, true story. It's a pretty big appliances company here in the Philippines, and before the pandemic pa, they didn't want to invest in digital marketing. So what this guy did, he's the one who shelled out money. He's part of the family, but he's a far family relative. But he shelled out. He's the one who invested his own money in digital marketing, and he studied it all, did it by himself. Hindi nakikinig sa kanya yung mga older people in the business. Pretty big business actually here in Metro Manila, in the Philippines, I'd say. And what happened was it became so successful that right now in the pandemic, it amounts to a big chunk of their sales. Like I'd say really big chunk of their current sales because no one's going to the malls, right? Not a lot of people are going to the malls or risking their necks out there. So they're selling a lot online from the website. And that is because he made sacrifices. So my answer to you here would be the same. You'd have to make sacrifices. You'd have to set the model for your ideas on how you think the business could improve. That is how you do it while maintaining a good relationship with them. Because if you don't have a good relationship with them anyway, you're not going to be able to pull anything off. So yeah, this is a tough answer, a tough situation. It's really tricky for me to answer this, but um, yeah, thankfully I have that case study, and that worked really well for that company and that person that I mentioned, and that's a true story. So you could do it that way. I think that works really well. That's going to take a lot from you. Hope that helps. All right, Nino, what's I think you have a couple more questions. You have a couple more questions. Let's go to the next one.
The next one is I sometimes stay away from my goals and I tend to procrastinate. What do I need to do to keep me motivated?
This is the struggle of a lot of professionals, actually. So you're not alone in this. A lot of people struggle with that. What I know, what I realize is if your goals, if the reason why those goals are on your plate is not big enough, then you won't work hard enough. So it may be that the goals are not that big enough for you in your life. It doesn't matter that, the how you think about it is not big enough. It doesn't matter too much for you. Might be one of the reasons why you tend to procrastinate. Because if it is something that really matters to you, matters a lot to you, and you meditate on it, you think about it, kailan ko ba ito matatapos? Kailan ko ba yung magagawa? What would happen to my life if I actually accomplish these things? Then you do whatever it takes. That's gonna be your burning why. Why do I have these goals? Why do I want to achieve that? So that's what we call it, the burning why. If it's burning hot enough, if it's big enough, you're not gonna procrastinate. And one of the other things that I do to make sure that I hit my goals is I keep sounds so simple. I keep a task list and a calendar. And I make sure to clear my calendar for things that I want to do that are important but not urgent. Because there are so many urgent things that will come within your day and it's going to demand time from you. So in order to keep that at bay and make sure you have focus time, because when you do deep work, you're going to need 1 hour at least of transitioning into that deep work. What do I mean by deep work? It's like writing a book, writing a process document, writing your mission vision statement, writing your core values. And I had to do that. I'm CEO. I was the one who wrote those things for my company. I needed deep work. And that, again, is 1 hour of transitioning in time. So maybe 4 to 5 hours of focus time. That's what I needed to do that. And in order for me to do that, I have to block off my calendar and tell my team, this is off limits. You can't book any meetings here. So that's one of the things that I do to make sure that I am on track with the things that are important and I need to do, and I don't procrastinate them. Because sometimes procrastination is also a result of you keeping on accepting work. Anything urgent, just throw it my way and I'm going to accept it and I'm going to work on it. And then you realize the day's gone. And that important thing that you wish to do or you plan to do today is going to be pushed to another day. And you don't have the same inspiration on that day. So those are some of the things that I do to make sure I hit those goals and not procrastinate. Your second question, what do I need to do to keep me motivated? Always remember why you're doing what you're doing. Always remember why you have those goals in place. There's a reason why you have those goals, those important things. And if they're burning big enough, bright enough, you're going to be motivated to finish them on time. All right, Nino, hope that helps. Hey, you have a last question. Want to move on there?
Thank you. So, Sean, the last question about the list is we all have our biases on the different investment vehicles. For you, what is your investment? Is to say your end goal.
Different bias. Well, for me, before I came in the Leadership Stack show, I was actually talking with Master Marvin Guillermo, the billionaire. And we were talking. We were talking about politics, the upcoming elections, who's on the running. We were talking about this country and what we're gonna do, I mean, the future doesn't look so bright in terms of our political climate. And we pray for it, but we also don't want to be caught in the crossfire and spend the, what do you call it, your best years, your best years in an environment like that. So end goal is gonna be like him, where he is very diversified in terms of investments. He has stocks, he has crypto, forex, real estate. I would say I would have a little bit of all of those things. That's a very good end goal for me, because at the end of the day, you have to hedge yourself. You have to hedge your investments. It's not all the time that real estate is great. It's not all the time that stocks are great. It's not all the time that agriculture is great. So I have investments in agriculture. I have investments in forex, investments in private companies, growing companies. So during the pandemic, I find that my agriculture investment did well. Real estate would not be so much. Stocks and crypto did pretty well, and still going up right now. It's still recovering. So, but there are some investments that are not going to do well when some others are. So you have to hedge that way. So I would say you shouldn't have just one investment vehicle. You should have a couple, maybe three or four, just to hedge from bad economy. And even my stocks, they're hedged against each other. So I have gaming stocks like Nvidia, AMD, and Google, Microsoft. But at the same time, I also have stocks in the pharma industry in the US. And at the same time, um, I also have big tech like Apple and Tesla. So it depends, how well the markets you want to get into, and how well they hedge against each other. But yeah, I wouldn't say that I'm gonna put all my money in like SSS and rely on government pension someday. I'm not gonna advise that. My suggestion is put it in different areas where you put in a good amount of study and you really know how it works, how that investment works, and yeah, that's gonna be the strategy for me. And I hope that makes sense for you. I know that there's not a lot of investments out there that are private that would say, hey, why don't you invest in this agricultural investment? And I know the owner, and you can invest here, and these are the returns every year. There's not a lot of that going on. And I guess I'm very fortunate to have the connections that I have to be able to invest in that kind of investment. But even when talking about network, I also went out of my way to know people. And the best investment really that you're going to be doing is an investment in yourself. You read books, listen to podcasts, you network with people. Whenever there's great people that are coming together, make sure you're part of that. Don't be shy. Say hi. Ask them what they do. Be genuinely interested in them. The book "How to Win Friends and Win and Influence People," that will tell you how you can start a conversation well, so that you can network better. Be genuinely interested in other people rather than talking about yourself. Actually, don't talk about yourself unless they ask you, what do you do? So that's how I network. I'm really just asking people, hey, what do you do? Oh, that's interesting. And maybe I could refer you to someone here, because I know someone who might need your expertise or your business or your supplies. And usually they respond with thank you, and then they become interested in me as well. What do you do? And then that's when I begin to share what I do, and we form the connection there. And a lot of my investments actually start out that way. A lot of my investments start out that way. So invest in yourself, invest in your network, your connections, and you'll get some investments that are really, really good and could take you a long, long way. Hope that helps, Nino. And thank you for your questions. Really good stuff.
Thank you, Sir Sean. Galing, grabe.
No prob.
Can I, Sir Sean, share a little bit something?
Yeah, go ahead.
So, first of all, thank you for inviting me to this platform, Clubhouse. Yeah, it's really good for networking if you're into network and business and all, because there are a lot of learnings. You can really get a lot of value in this platform. Actually, because of this, one thing led to another. I talked to other people from Filipinos and other nationalities as well. And yesterday, I did close a deal. So I had my first international client because of Clubhouse. Thanks to you, Sir Sean.
Wow, that's amazing. That's really good. Congratulations. More to come, hopefully. All right. We have Patrick saying Twitter Space is a great platform too. Actually, kakasabi lang ni Marvin kanina before I went out. And sabi niya, yeah, Twitter Spaces. And the great thing about it is you got followers there already. I haven't checked into that. But from what he said and how he's promoting it, I'm going to check it out. Maybe after the call, I'm going to check it out. Hey, Len, good evening. Thanks for being here. Patrick, why don't you join us in Clubhouse if you could as well? Oh, but yeah. Why don't you join us here if you have questions? We have questions as well from Erica. All right. Erica's not on Clubhouse, but she has questions here. How can we better evaluate our employees? Oh, well, it depends on, I would say, evaluate based on your core values. That's one that for me is very, very important. So some of our core values in SEO Hacker, and it you don't have to copy our core values, right? I mean, it would depend on your founder DNA. I know a lot of companies here in the Philippines have malasakit as one of their core values, and it's that's really great. By the way, that I'm thinking about incorporating that in our core values as well, because that's a really good Filipino trait and word to have, malasakit. And if you have people who have malasakit for your company, for your team, I think that's amazing. We don't have that yet in our core values, but we do have grit, respect for work, unity, challenger, being a challenger, clarity, and experimentation. It's just 6 stuff. And we evaluate based on that. How well do you stand up when you make mistakes? That's great. How early are you in terms of meetings? Are you on time? Do you log in on time? Do you really complete work on time? That's respect for work. Unity is about, do you gossip? Do you confront people who need to be confronted? Do you allow incompetence to run amok in your team? That's unity. Challenger is, do you go the extra mile? If this is what's asked of you, do you do more? Do you work harder? Clarity is about making sure that when you say something, the other party understands what you mean. The biggest mistake in communication is the assumption that it already happened. So clarity is super important, and experimentation is all about trying out new things in the spirit of having a positive outcome, not being afraid to make mistakes. And we evaluate based on those values. For every person who asks me in my team, for example, for a raise or for feedback, we check how well they have done in terms of those core values, 6 core values that we have. So I'd say always evaluate based on your core values and on what they bring to the table. At the end of the day, it's what they bring to the table. Of course, maybe you're wondering, where's competence in all that? Hey, if they're not competent, then they're bringing the company down. That's not a core value. It should be their permission to play for your team, right? If they're not competent, they really shouldn't be in your team. Maybe you're wondering, why is integrity not a core value? Well, integrity. If people don't have integrity, they shouldn't be working for you, right? Because they're gonna steal time, they're gonna lie. It just doesn't make sense. So it's a permission to play value. You have to identify core values of your company based on what you really value, but you also have some values that are permission to play. That's the minimum thing that your people has to have. Otherwise, they shouldn't be part of the team. Integrity is one of them. And competence, of course, is another one. So, yeah, hope that helps, Erica. Another question: how many times would you suggest we evaluate in a year? We have what we call a reverse annual evaluation. So we don't evaluate employees uh, in a year. They evaluate themselves and they submit a document or an email to me and the rest of the Exicom, and then they list down all the things that they believe have shown them exemplifying the core values. So we read that reverse annual evaluation, and we would then negotiate on the amount that they want if they want a raise based on that. So we don't do annual evaluation. We don't do evaluation in general. For us, we give that authority and decision to our people, to our team members. They evaluate themselves and then they allow us to be part of that journey. That's how we do it. And the reason why I want it that way is it makes for a more mature team. They become mature enough because we're a very young team. I'm turning 33 this year. Everyone's younger than me. We're a very young team. This way they become more mature. Now I know other entrepreneurs are scratching their heads and saying, but that would open them up to having a raise every year. Yeah, actually it does. They could actually have a raise every year if they merit it. Instead of me having to be the one to tap their shoulder and say, hey, it's time for a raise or it's time for your annual evaluation. But it just doesn't make sense for me to always be evaluating them for nothing. And we used to do it that way where we evaluate a lot of people, like 30 people. We used to be 30. I evaluate all 30 every year. And they don't even want to raise. They don't even want to be evaluated. It just doesn't make sense. So it saves me a lot of time doing it this way. What are the factors that you would recommend that we evaluate our employees on? I'd say, yeah, core values. That's major. So other than that, it's going to be the KPIs of the job. And you could check that in your job description. So if your job descriptions when you hire people are really well written, and you could check at SEO Hacker how we write our job descriptions. Just search for SEO Hacker job openings on Google. You'll be able to find it. I personally wrote a lot of the job descriptions that are there. And I wrote what winning looks like. I wrote what the roles and responsibilities are, what we expect from you. It's super clear that if we use that job description for hiring, if we use that to evaluate people in the team, it's actually going to hold up because these are super clear KPIs and what winning looks like. And if you're not hitting them, then you're not doing a good job. So my suggestion is sa job description pa lang when you hire, make sure it's crystal clear and you put in the effort and time to write really good job descriptions. How can we inspire our employees after evaluation? How can we inspire our employees after an evaluation? Well, for me, they have to be, because again, how we do it is the reverse annual evaluation. So they evaluate themselves and bring us along in the journey. And so usually what we see, my people, they just send the reverse annual evaluation if they think that they merit it already or if they think they did a really good job. They don't send the reverse annual evaluation when they think that it's going to fail, that they haven't done something significant yet. So actually, they're pretty inspired every time they send it to us. That's what happens because we're happy, that they're mature enough to gauge themselves against the core values, against their KPIs, and we see the extra mile work that they've done in that evaluation report that they send us. And usually we find them inspiring themselves as well. So that's really a lot of good things culminating in that reverse annual evaluation. How can we encourage employees to create an action plan after an evaluation? Actually, we require that. So after they send the reverse annual evaluation, we tell them to send over a growth plan. And I outline the contents of the growth plan. It's super clear what I expect and what I want to see. And I personally wrote the questions they have to answer in the growth plan. So it's not really hard for them to draft up a growth plan from nothing at the get-go. Yeah, and yeah, it's a requirement for us. So we don't really, I'm not going to use the word encourage, I require it, because if I'm going to give you a raise, then there has to be something new on the table as well. And the one thing that we promise team members in SEO Hacker is growth. And if you don't have a growth plan for yourself, then no one's going to do it for you, because you have to be dictating your own growth, what you want to grow into, or you have to be asking me questions about it if you have really no idea on where you can grow into and what you can become. Should I gather the opinions of leaders in the company when evaluating employees? Sure. I'd say yeah. I mean, whenever you ask someone for their opinion, that's showing them respect, and that's showing them that you value their opinion. So what your leaders are for is to actually help you make better decisions, because your leaders should be experts where they are, where you put them. And asking more opinion, the Bible says the more opinions you have, the better your decisions will be. It's not verbatim, so don't go ahead and look for that in the Bible, but I'm sure that's somewhere in Proverbs, and I truly sincerely believe that. So the more opinions you have of trusted leaders in your team, the better. How can I get employees to evaluate themselves better? Have a guideline. That's the best way. A lot of people, a lot of employees, the problem is they don't have a guideline, they don't have guidance, they don't have directions. That's the problem. And if they don't have it, they're thinking that they're not going to be submitting you a good report. A lot of employees are insecure that way, and you as the leader have to be the one to fill the gap, to make them more secure that, hey, you know what you're going to be sending is something that's sure, it's something that I'm going to read, because here's the guidelines, here's the template, just follow these and you're okay. So yeah, have a guideline, have a template. That's going to help them a lot, and that's going to, of course, encourage them to evaluate themselves and send that over to you. How can I ensure that the basis of my evaluation is more objective than subjective? Base it on a set of guidelines. Base it, like I said, we have the core values. So that is very objective. It's crystal clear what our core values are. It's crystal clear what those core values stand for. And it's also crystal clear why we have those core values and why they're important. So if you have very clear core values that it can be practiced, it is something that you truly believe in, it makes it super easy for you to now make sure that when you side them up, the evaluation and the core value makes it so easy for you to be objective rather than subjective. In fact, I would say in our evaluations, the evaluations that we go along with our people in the team, it is very, very objective how we do it, because they write the core values themselves. They write the evaluations themselves, the reverse annual evaluation, and we're just there to go along with them and review it and approve it. So it is, in a way, subjective to them, but it is for us very objective, because we have these in place already, these mechanics in place. Okay, so I'm here. I'm looking at my Clubhouse, and I'm saying invite on stage. I'm not sure why I can't. I'm clicking on that. Patrick, I'm seeing you here. I'm not sure why I can't invite you on stage, but I am trying. So yeah, before we move forward, I just want to let you guys know, for those of you who have just logged in the show, we are in Clubhouse. So that's the link where you can follow me. I'm actually hosting a room right now where you can talk. I'll invite you on stage, you talk, people in the show are going to hear you. So yeah, that is one of the new things that we're trying out. I'm trying it out right now. We're experimenting. I'm not sure how well it has gone. I don't know how Nino's voice was able to sound on the show earlier, but we're trying it out. That's experimentation. We're happy to experiment and grow the show that way. We are also on TikTok because of a lot of proddings and encouragements from several people. We have TikTok exclusive videos that are not published anywhere on Facebook and YouTube. So you can follow us there. We have, I don't know, like 30 plus followers, not a lot. But hey, if you want to check those videos out, it's there. And of course, Spotify, which is our main arena. We have over 2,600 followers on Spotify, which is amazing. Thank you so much for making Leadership Stack the number one leadership podcast in the Philippines, right next to John Maxwell's podcast. Would you believe that? That is a very big deal for me and my team. And I want to thank you guys because you guys made that happen. All right, Patrick, I'm trying to invite you on stage. Still can't do it. So I'm going to say, for those of you who are not yet on Discord, there's the rotating banner down there. Please join us. The URL is from.sean.c/Discord. That is where I pasted the Clubhouse link. So if you want to join us on Clubhouse in the room mismo, you have to go in Discord and ask your questions there as well. Hey, Patrick, how are you doing? There you go. Hina ng boses mo though.
Yeah, I'm using this earphones kasi.
Oh.
Can you hear me good?
Yeah, I could hear you. No problem.
Okay. So I just need to speak louder.
Yeah, no worries.
Basically, I don't have any questions. I just want to appreciate what you do. It's really helping me and doing.
Thank you for that. We do this to pay things forward. Okay, no problem with no questions, Patrick. We appreciate you as well for always sharing our podcast to a lot of people and always tuning in. We appreciate that super. And yeah, I'm glad to see you on Clubhouse right now trying this out. If you guys are tuned in, you're on Facebook or YouTube, can you let me know if you could hear Patrick and Nino earlier, if their audio is loud enough? Because I have no idea. I'm not listening to the live show right now. I'm broadcasting. But if you are, if you think it's mahina, it's not, the volume's not enough, can you let me know in the comment sections, please? Thank you for that. We have a question from Sarah. Do you have a personal development plan? I do. It's not 100% clear though, but I do. But what's more important for me, Sarah, is the business plan. So the business, we're in the stage where we're professionalizing, meaning we're opening roles for assistant vice president and VP and vice president as well, like VP of sales, VP of marketing, VP of operations, a lot. I'm not sure 100% yet on exactly what kind of VP roles that we're gonna get. But our Exicom kasi is a family business right now. It's me, my wife, my brother, and my sister in the Exicom. And we want to professionalize it where people can be part of the Exicom. And then the Exicom now is going to move up to board of directors. So the plan for the business is crystal clear. That is the way to go. And my personal development is bridging that gap. So we've never done this. And because we've never done this, I need mentors. And so I have mentors telling me what to do to get from family business to a professionalized business, which is really, really important to future-proof the company and make sure it's running even without me. I'm not saying that I'm retiring. I'm not. I believe I'm still going to be working until 40 or 45, maybe even 50, because I want to serve my people. Even if I don't have to, but I wanna, that's me being CEO. God put me here. I believe it's a calling, it's an appointment, and I'm still gonna be doing it. But yeah, so my growth plan is like that. Based on where the business is going, where do I need to grow into? So I'm listening to a lot of podcasts as well about executive hiring. because it's different hiring executives, hiring AVP roles, VP roles. It takes like one podcast I listened to said that it could take up to 3 years for you to hire like a vice president role. And it would take for your current leadership and executive team to go and meet this person, have dinner at home with them, and really get to know this person before you hire them. Because that executive's just gonna change the chemistry of the entire company. Because they're gonna be someone in leadership and authority position, and you don't want anyone just about anyone in that position. You want to really get to know that person. So my growth plan and my growth development is really towards that right now. As of books, I haven't really been able to find books about executive hiring, so I'm still reading what I'm reading right now, and that's the 15 Valuable Laws of Growth, The Change Your World, which is a new book by John Maxwell. And yeah, and Principles by Ray Dalio. Yes, di ko pa tapos yun. Napakahaba ng libro. That's a very thick, very long book, and I haven't finished it yet. Next question from Sarah. What are your simple habits to practice patience? Patience is something that I believe God has given me as a gift. So I know a lot of people who have road rage. I'm one of the people that is super chill when I drive. You never hear me cuss or get angry, even when people cut me or they're too slow or they're a little crazy when they drive, right? You never hear me say anything about that. You can ask my wife about it. So I think patience is something that God has gifted me with. Yeah, I just keep in mind that you are where you are because it's the perfect timing that God put you there in. If you believe that, then there really is no reason for you to be impatient. If you believe that you are where you are because at that time that's where God put you, there's no real reason for you to be impatient. So hope that helps, Sarah. Do you have problems with patience? I wonder. I'm sure you don't. You seem such a patient person. No, but yeah, hope that helps. What keeps you going every time you don't feel like leading? Oh, mahirap to. That's tough. Yeah, that's tough. I've had those days. Or doing your overall commitment in the company. Ah, that's tough. Yeah, this is a tough question. What keeps you going? Honor. Really, my honor. So if you're familiar with Reese Motivation Profile, which is another profiling test like Gallup Strengths Finder, my desire for honor is extremely high. So you could almost say that I'm a person who values honor at a very high level. Honor is a very big deal for me. And I feel really bad if I don't serve my people just because I don't feel like leading that day, just because I don't want to commit that day to serving them and doing the work. I'd feel very bad, super bad. And I guess that's what keeps me going. That's what keeps me present even when I don't feel like it. Maybe I'd sneak in a delegated thing or two, something that I should be personally doing that I know I can do, but I delegate it anyway because I don't feel like working that day or leading that day. Maybe I'd do that, yeah, just to balance myself out. But I cannot not work like just because I don't feel like it. That's if ever that has happened, it rarely happens. So I have another person who has just entered Clubhouse. Marge is here. Marge, I'm trying to invite you on stage. I'm not sure again why I couldn't. I did something earlier. Might work, but right now I don't see it working. Maybe you need to accept if I invite you on stage. I'm not sure about that. Maybe you do.
Yeah, they need to accept Sir Sean.
All right, that's why. So, yeah, Marge, if you're tuned in, I just want you to know I just invited you on stage to Clubhouse, and you can come in anytime you want. Okay, Lara, our producer, says na mahina nga yung sa'yo, Patrick, yung audio. That's good to know. But for Nino, I think we're good. So yeah, awesome. From Sarah, wow, I guess Sarah, you're talking about the patience. Yeah, yeah. It's you just have to believe God put you there at the right time, and got no reason not to be patient. Question from Anne: We'll be submitting our accomplishment report this Friday for evaluation. What are the contents I can include aside from the actions taken and challenges? Huh. What are the contents? Well, accomplishments report is something where you put in all of the stuff you've been able to do for the company, for the client. So when we send accomplishments report, we just make sure to put in everything, every little detail that we were able to positively accomplish for the client there. I guess in your case, that's what I would do. I don't know what you do, Anne. I'm not familiar with your work, but at least for SEO Hacker, that's how we do it. Make sure to just make it simple, make it designed well so that the client will be able to understand it easy. Because sometimes the person you send the report to is not really that into reports. So make sure that it's super easy to understand, well designed, so that when they submit it or when they present it to their board of directors, advisors, or execom, it's easy for them to present it and you look good because you're the one who made the accomplishment report. What are the contents you can include aside from actions taken and challenges? Make sure you include stats, like how well did your work contribute to the bottom line or to their KPI. If you can have that, that would be great. Or if you have KPIs that you're measured with, make sure you put in there how well you've measured against your KPI. That's going to make for a really good accomplishment report. I mean, that's what I want to see if I was the one asking for the accomplishment report. So hope that helps, Anne. I am looking at other questions. Yeah, well, looks like I covered it. Looks like I have covered all the questions. Awesome. So and we're 10 minutes early. That's amazing. So before we wrap things up, again, if you haven't yet, please do follow us on Spotify. We have over 2,600 followers. And if you can share our episodes, that would be amazing as well. We've had so many episodes. Could you believe it? We've had over 200 episodes already. Guys, since 2019 of July, over 200 episodes na yung na-publish ng Leadership Stack team sa Spotify. Right? 2019 July is when we started the podcast. And back then, it wasn't that good. It wasn't that great. We've had really good topics though. So you might want to check back on that. But the audio, my mic is not that great. I'm just giving you a heads up. So I'm lowering your expectations right here. But yeah, we have had some amazing episodes. This one, don't make these mistakes in financial planning, scored a lot of hits. A lot of people listen to this. I think it is an amazing 11-minute episode. And if you haven't tuned in there, please do. And yeah, you're welcome. That's a really good episode. I learned a lot from Fritz as well. I'm also trying to book Master Marvin Guillermo again because it's been a while since we've had him in the show. But yeah, that's where we have him. Should you begin investing in Chinese businesses? Basically businesses in China, not businesses owned by Chinese businessmen here in the Philippines. Okay, baka yun ang iniisip nyo. Finding things that work for you this pandemic. That's an episode we published May 5. Might want to tune into that as well. Okay, that is it. Ann C says, thank you, sir. You are very welcome. I hope that helps you in your accomplishment report. Marge, welcome to the show. You're finally on stage on Clubhouse.
Hi, Sean. Hi, Nino. Hi, Patrick. Magandang umaga. Magandang gabi sa video. Oh my gosh.
Kala ko taga-US ka eh. Gandang umaga. Si Patrick, taga-US.
Well, in the US, we're in Clubhouse. So, pwede na sana. Magandang gabi.
Magandang gabi. Marge, did I walang questions from you, no? Well, but we have questions from Mitch. Did I miss that? I didn't think I was able to answer it. Yeah, we have questions, Papala. So sorry for that. So I'm gonna eat up the rest of the 7 minutes that we have. From Mitch, what are the best and most cost-effective ways to do market research for a learning and development business? The easiest way? Look at Google Trends. I mean, just punch in Google Trends. It's free. Put in Google Trends, look it up on your browser, and just check those keywords. Like for online courses, for example, online courses for brewing kombucha, for example, just because I have kombucha right here. So if you want to look at the market, how big the market is, put in Google Trends Philippines and then put in the keyword like online courses for brewing kombucha, and you will get an idea about how many people are searching for it in Google. Because if a lot of people are searching from it in Google, that means there's money to be had there. And you can still rank for that. You could create a website for it. You could market your Facebook page there, do whatever you need to do to make sure that you reach those people and generate income. That is free. That's easy. You could do that in 5 to 10 minutes, maybe 30 minutes. Kung maraming keywords kang gusto i-check. But that's how I do it, 100%. Or if you have a little bit of budget, sign up for SEMrush. 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 Just a disclaimer, I do have, I'm an affiliate of SEMrush, and it would be amazing if you could use my affiliate link for that so that they'd know that I still refer clients to them. So if you're interested in SEMrush, let me know. I'll send you the link and you could sign up. And I use that personally to check if there is a market for the certain business that I want to get into. That's how I do my market research. Hope that helps. From Mitch Paren, after identifying what the market needs, what would be the next steps before launching it to the public? I would say the Lean Startup Method by Eric Rice would be an amazing methodology for you to do. So build the minimum viable product. It could be pen and paper. It could be just an idea or a prototype website. And then ask people to go to that website that you built. Maybe you could use free WordPress or some other free website builder out there. There's so many, and you could just use them and ask people, hey, if you go to this website, would you buy my product? Would you buy my service? And if they say it's too expensive, then you get an idea, I should adjust the price. Or if they say it doesn't look that great, then you know that you have a web design problem. So the Lean Startup Method by Eric Rice is all about the fast feedback loop. If you get feedback faster and you get qualitative feedback, meaning it really matters for you as the business owner, as the potential business owner, because you're just starting out, then you could calibrate your business for success even before it launches, even before you put in the capital, the money to invest in it. That makes for a very, very good pre-launch phase for you. So the Lean Startup by Eric Rice, by the way, is a book. You could buy it or download it if you have Kindle and read it. It's a really good read. In launching such a business, is it always essential to create lots of free content or build a community first to establish trust and familiarity? When are credentials enough pull to get people to enroll in a course or support a business? I would say it depends on how you want to sell and market. Content marketing, which is pretty much what you mentioned here, free content, build a community. That's a really, really good way to market, but it also is a really, really long way to market. Takes a lot of time, takes a lot of effort and research to do content marketing well. Because you have to write a really good piece of content. And you have to take so much time promoting that piece of content. I mean, the time you spent building the content should be the same time you spend promoting it, or even longer. I think the promotion is even more important. If you do believe you have a really good piece of content, you should promote it like there's no tomorrow. That's how you should promote it. So if you want to do it the content marketing route, which by the way is the route that I took with SEO Hacker, I didn't really intend for it to be a business naman eh. It was just a blog. I was building and writing these stuff for free. And the stuff that I wrote were so valuable because I was so transparent about my strategies, my thoughts, my tactics, and what I thought about the new updates in Google algorithms that people started sharing it, and there was a community around it. People were commenting, they were chatting with me, and then I got a lot of inquiries for SEO, and SEO Hacker became, the word just spread. I didn't intend for it to be like that, but it did. So I put the work and time I put in the blog was a lot. That was a lot. I would write for like two whole days researching, writing, editing, and then hitting the publish button right after. And given that I am a writer, I mean, that's my passion, and I do believe that's one of my God-given talents. Matagal-tagal yung 2 days for me to be able to publish an SEO article. Usually it just takes me an hour, and I'd have something shipped away if I'm an expert in a certain topic. So it does take a lot of time and effort for you to do it the content marketing route, but it pays off in dividends. I mean, up to today, I'm very limited in how I advertise and market SEO Hacker, but I do get a lot of referrals pa rin. Like people just recommend me to other people who are looking for SEO, and that's gift, that's a blessing. I mean, that's word of mouth marketing. What's better than that? What's stronger than that? And it also helped my SEO doing it the content marketing route. We ranked really high for SEO Philippines, SEO and other SEO keywords besides. We ranked really well for them, and the content marketing helped that way. When are credentials enough to pull people? See, here's how people think. If the free stuff is really, really good and it works really, really well, then the paid stuff must be miraculous. So if you're able to communicate it that way, where if you get the paid stuff, it's 10 times better than the free stuff, but the free stuff is already great for you to go on, I think people would buy the paid stuff. That's what I think. So it might be tough here in the Philippines because the thing about us Pinoys, it's growth is not at the top of our list. We're a consumer market. We love going to the malls. It's a sad thing for me to say this, but it's also the truth. Now in the US, 60% of Americans, studies show, the last book they've ever read is in college, which means for them, majority of them, growth is not that important as well. But I think for Filipinos, even more people, like maybe more than 60% of Pinoys, the last book they've ever read is in college. So it might be tough for you to sell online courses here because not a lot of people are invested in their personal growth. That's what I'd say. Because I am in that field, I am in that area. I do sell online courses in my sean.c/masterclass website. And the courses I sell are very straightforward. You get the info there, you get the links to the stuff I personally use to grow my business. And still not a lot of people, we didn't hit our targets. So that was an eye-opener for me that really, however good your stuff is, it depends on your market if they are receptive to it or not. So that's my opinion on that. Hope that helps. And I hope that provided value for you. So Marge, do you have questions, by the way, for tonight, now that you're here in the show?
I'm just here to listen.
All right. No prob. Hey, we do this every week. Maybe I do this Clubhouse thing every week. And yeah, pretty good. I mean, I appreciate Nino being the one asking the questions. Save me some saliva right there. But yeah, Nino, Patrick, Marge, thanks for being here. And for all of you who are not here in the show, but because you're too shy, Sarah, yeah, that's what Sarah says, too shy. Sarah, hopefully you could join us next week. Mitch as well. If you could join us next week, that'd be amazing. And for all of you watching YouTube, Twitch, Periscope, and Facebook Live, I just want to tell you guys, it'd be awesome if you can join us here. Looks like the Clubhouse thing is working. We're on Discord. You can ask your questions there. And or you could just tune in on YouTube and Spotify and TikTok if you want to get more of this stuff. We're always on Thursdays, 8 p.m. every week. So I hope you enjoyed this episode tonight and learned a lot from it. And I'll see you next Thursday, 8 p.m. Take care and God bless.